I am a storyteller. For over a decade, I was one of the faces of e-news and Entertainment Tonight. I covered everything from the Oscars to the Golden Globes to movie premieres to new music to fashion shows. I absolutely loved it. I really liked covering celebrity marriages and their inevitable divorces. Everything in the world of pop culture. It was my dream job. I worked my butt off to get there. But in 2010, I met the love of my life, Philippe Cousteau, and my life and career changed. Cousteau, what a name, right? The undersea world of Jacques Cousteau inspired so many people around the world to realize the enthralling nature of nature. In 1972, Cousteau, Jacques Cousteau, which would be my husband's grandfather, and Philippe Sr., my husband's father, led an expedition here to Antarctica. They filmed 4 different episodes for their show here. It was the first time viewers around the world laid eyes on the white continent. The crew explored, they conducted experiments, and they drank a lot of wine. It was truly like they took you all as the crew of the Calypso on their adventure. And if you think about it, it was really one of the first reality shows on television. Now, for me, I cared about the environment, but it wasn't a huge part of my life. I mean, I recycled. But as I was drawn deeper and deeper into conservation, I started to become really embarrassed of my entertainment career, a career that was my dream job that, like I said, I worked my butt off to get. It was like I was leading this double life. I would interview Prince in the morning about his new song, and then I would go have dinner with Prince Albert of Monaco to talk about saving our oceans. I couldn't figure out how my 2 parts of my life would come together. One day, I was asked to host the UN Convention on Migratory Species in Quito, Ecuador. Afterwards, there was a huge party for all the dignitaries and delegates, and I was fully prepared to talk about all the serious issues of the day: war, water, climate change. But to my surprise, I actually had an entire line of people who wanted to talk to me about entertainment. Ashlan, how tall is George Clooney? Meh, he's about my height. Ashlan, is Charlize Theron really that beautiful in real life? No, she's even prettier. Ashlan, who's the biggest dick in Hollywood? I'll tell you guys later. I was so surprised to see these very serious and dignified people want to know about entertainment. And that's when I realized that entertainment can save the world. Now let's look at the very definition of entertain. It means to hold the attention of. That includes a lot of things: trashy magazines, the Kardashians, but it also includes enthralling movies, inspiring television shows, really emotional stories that touch all of us. Now, there's a really negative and dark side to entertainment also. The 24-hour news cycle has led to companies putting entertainment and ratings above the journalistic responsibility to create true, factual, non-biased news. We've seen entertainment used to elect officials. You know who I'm talking about. We've seen entertainment used to spread the doctrine of hate. And also, we've seen the rise of fake news. We know that entertainment is incredibly strong, and we must use that power for good. Think about Blackfish, right? The marine mammal crusade was something that has been out there for decades, but that film was able to touch and inspire the masses. They boycotted, they changed laws, and they almost took down a multi-million-dollar business. Leonardo DiCaprio's film Blood Diamond made many of us look at our engagement rings and our jewelry in a completely different way. And one of my favorite, March of the Penguins, it shared and showed families around the world not only about penguins, but about Antarctica, about climate change, and about species survival. We know that entertainment is powerful, and we must harness this power to change the world for the better. You all, as content creators, hold in the palm of your hand, as your telephone and your cameras, a way to tell these engaging stories. And as someone who tells stories for a living, I wanted to share with you all my top 3 tips on telling an engaging story. Sell it, baby. We have so much fighting for our attention these days, and we have to make sure that our stories are seen and heard, right? Philippe and I recently produced a documentary for Discovery Channel called Nuclear Sharks. Now, this was not a film about radioactive sharks with laser beams on their heads. This was a story about how the sharks of the Marshall Islands were able to repopulate after the total devastation of our nuclear testing during the Cold War. When our show premiered, it was the #1 rated show on cable across everything in America, a huge feat. We were so excited. But I can honestly tell you that people were intrigued by our show, and the media was also intrigued because we had a badass title. Number 2, simplicity. Like it or not, Donald Trump used simple language to connect with a lot of Americans. And Bill Clinton did the same thing during his presidential bid with his slogan, "It's the economy, stupid." We must make sure that you are not talking above your audience. When you do that, all of the research, the data, and analysis will fall on deaf ears. We must make these stories ingestible by all. Humor. We gotta tackle some deep shit. From climate change to ocean acidification to showing people the links between the illegal wildlife trade and terrorism and human trafficking. This is some really heavy content.
Great Big Story presents a marine motion picture like no other. Learn the mysteries of the deep from the elite crew of mariners. See the submarine world like never before.
Oceanauts, engage.
The Aquatic World with Philippe Cousteau.
Any Wes Anderson fans in the room? There we go. So what we did is, this is fun, it's quirky, we drink real booze on set, but most importantly, this entire series is rooted in real science. We teach people about underwater volcanoes, about narwhals, and about the giant oarfish. We are reaching people who wouldn't necessarily sit down and watch an earnest 2-hour documentary. Last time I checked, this series has had over 10 million views. We're really excited about that too. But as the saying goes, cry and you cry alone, but laugh and the world laughs with you. Scientists, in this day and age of the internet, regular people are reading your peer-reviewed papers without the aid of scientific journalists distilling the information to them. Please, please don't forget the power of a good narrative to actually increase the public's knowledge. But also remember that that good narrative can still be rooted in real science. Media, in your hands you hold this amazing power, and please don't be afraid to use that power to tackle big issues, because that doesn't mean you have to give up on success and profits. Take, for instance, this company called Participant Films. They made The Inconvenient Truth and also last year's Oscar winner, Spotlight. Their whole business model is making these huge world issues ingestible by all people and entertaining. They think of success not only as when an environmentalist or a feminist watches their film, but when a guy sitting on his couch, drinking a beer with his hand down his pants, watches their film, enjoys it, and learns something. Environmentalists, we need to use every single tool we have in our arsenal to keep fighting for our planet. And please don't be embarrassed or afraid to look to pop culture to think of ways to share your story with the masses. As we say, you can hide the veggies in the pudding. Each and every one of you has the power to tell an engaging, emotional, investing story. If it's from the content you put on your social media, to the conversations you have with friends at cocktail parties, even to the conversations you have every single day. As I was here Wednesday, sleeping in my ice hole, laying there on the cold, dry Antarctica ice, looking up at this beautiful, crystal clear blue sky, I was taken aback by how far away and removed I was from everyone and everything that I know. But I also realized just how connected every single human being, animal and plant on this planet is connected to Antarctica through our water, our history, and most importantly, our weather. And it also reminded me of a quote that my grandfather-in-law, Jacques Cousteau, said after spending time here and filming this beautiful white continent. He said, "Antarctica was the last continent discovered by man. We cannot let her be the first destroyed by us." Each and every one of you has the power to tell engaging, inspiring stories that promote change in all of us. And when we do that, entertainment will save the planet. Thank you so much.